Yo, hello everybody. Okay, what's up? My name is Michael Music. We are finishing up the second reading of going through the great book called Think and Grow Rich. Now, I believe so. We've been chatting about the six major fears, and yesterday we talked a little bit about the fear of loss of love. Now, this is another pretty short chapter. It could have been wise to combine them, but I wanted them separately just so that it's like each day you kind of space them out and it's like a different topic that we're tackling each day. Now today the topic is the fear of old age. So are you afraid of getting older? Right, it's pretty self-explanatory. This is something interesting I found. So I'm only 22 during the time. I'm turning 23 in less than a month. But the it's interesting. So I just got done college, and I almost saw myself as being old because I went back to school, visited my friends that were still down there, and I was like, "Damn, am I washed up?" So I had this fear of old age. I thought I was old, but you got to realize it's all relative. I'm old compared to my friends in college, and I'm really old compared to people in high school at this point. But but in the grand scheme of things, besides school, I am I'm only 22. Reading Think and Grow Rich. So uh, just something relative about a few things. I think with growing old, hey, listen, this is a fear that we got, but it's all about what you're comparing it to. Like, are you 33 right now, having a kid, and comparing yourself to me, reading this, or are you using the law of relativity in your favor and comparing it to people that are older than you instead, and saying, "Damn, I still got plenty of time." So I'll just read the fear of old age because it is only like a page and a half. So he says, in the main, this fear grows out of two sources. First, the thought that old age may bring with it poverty. All right. So, do you have the thought that the older you get, you'll end up becoming poor because you may have to retire, you may not be able to work, etc. Secondly, and by far the most common source of origin, from false and cruel teachings of the past, which have been too well mixed with fire and brimstone, and other bogies cunningly designed to enslave man through fear. Wow. So this is gonna bring us to a whole tangent that I wasn't expecting to get to, but I gotta talk about it. So religion, right? The topic that nobody wants to talk about. Now, when I went to CCD, I was taught, I was raised Catholic, and I was taught that if you sin, you are going to go to hell, right? Let's acknowledge the fact that that is false. But but this is our religion, right? They were teaching me this when I was young, in going up to sixth grade in CCD. I was probably starting out in first or so, and they got this idea planted into my mind that if I don't, follow this book this way, if I ever sin, then I can expect my ass is going to hell. And let's face the fact that is 100% false. But this was my religion, so I believed it. Now, the older I get, now here how crazy this sounds. So in terms of what I believed growing up, I believed there was God. He was a guy in the sky that was judging every move I made, right? What's Mike up to today? Oh my God, he sinned, banish him, right? So this is what was planted in me, and I had this fear that when I die, I'm going to have to wait in line behind all these other people waiting in line to get to heaven, and this is where they're going to judge you on judgment day. No joke. This is what I've been taught. So I had this fear of, holy crap, if I sin, I'm going to hell. Now, now let's just acknowledge that is completely false. But this is what my religion taught me. So now bringing it back, hey Erica, I just went on a tangent about religion, so sorry about that. But we're talking about the fear of old age. Now bringing it back to this fear that the second part of the sphere comes from the false and cruel teachings of the past, right? This is where it's coming from, right? We're fear of getting older because when we die, you know, right? Some people believe that it's not going to be so fun after you leave this earth. So that's where the fear comes from. Furthermore, he says, in the basic fear of old age, man has two very sound reasons for his apprehension. One, growing out of his distrust of his fellow men, who may seize whatever worldly goods he may possess, and the other arising from a terrible pictures of the world beyond, which were planted in his mind through social heredity before he became in full possession of his mind. Okay, that's kind of going back to what I was talking about, right? We were planted these seeds that like life after death is like, oh shit, like if you do something bad, you're going to hell and it ain't going to be fun, right? There's like actually very cool of them to plant these seeds into my mind, but the fact of the matter was that it was. So so um so that's what I'm saying when this fear of old age comes into play, because you think about you know like like this shit at the end of the world, at the end of this human life being just purely negative. That stuff can get to you. Now, the possibility of ill health, which is more common as people grow older, is also a contributing cause of this common fear of old age. Eroticism also enters into the cause of the fear of old age, as no man cherishes the thought of diminishing sex attraction. Okay, so as you get older, you're worried about just not being nearly as attractive, right? There's many factors where this fear comes from. Now, the most common cause of fear of old age is associated with the possibility of poverty, right? This is called the poorhouse. It is not a pretty word. It throws a chill into the mind of every person who faces the possibility of having to spend his declining years on a poor farm. Another contributing cause of the fear of old age is the possibility of loss of freedom and independence, as old age may bring with it the loss of both physical and economic freedom. Okay? So that was the fear of old age summed up, and I just wanted to add my own little touch to it. Now let me talk about the symptoms. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. See if you have this fear, see if you can identify it, and ideally the goal would be to figure out, okay, where is this fear holding me back, right? Do I personally think that I have to be rich by a certain age or else I'm too old and I should just give up? Like, where in this life is this fear subconsciously planted that's holding me back from getting to the next step? So, symptoms of the fear of old age. The most commonest symptoms of this fear are the tendency to slow down and develop an inferiority complex at the age of mental maturity, around the age of 40, falsely believing oneself to be slipping because of age. All right. So do you right, let's say if you're over 40, damn, I don't know if this will hit my audience because I don't know who will be watching this that's over 40, but some of you may be. So do you believe like once you hit 40, oh no, it's downhill from here, right? Right. Do you have that false belief? But the truth is that man's most useful years, both mentally and spiritually, are those between 40 and 60 years old. All right. Do you have the habit of speaking apologetically of oneself or being old? like, I'm sorry, I'm so old, like, I'm sorry I messed this one up. Merely because one has reached the age of 40 or 50 instead of reversing the rule and expressing gratitude for having reached the age of wisdom and understanding. Okay, so this is for the 40 and 50-year-olds out there who are reading or watching, right? Do you have the habit of killing off initiative, imagination, and self reliance by falsely believing oneself too old to exercise these qualities? Do you have the habit of dressing with the aim to appear much younger and affecting mannerisms of youth, thereby inspiring ridicule by both friends and strangers? Gotcha. So, are you trying to? I guess if you're 60, are you trying to dress like one of those college girls going out uh to the frat houses, right? Like, I don't know. That's that's the thought I had. So yeah, that's the fear of old age. Pretty simple. It's sorry for the religious rant. I just gotta say it, right? Like we were planting these ideas that life after death is going to be just if you screwed up, you're going to hell, right? And no one wants to like enjoy in any way, shape, or form what hell would be like. Um, so that's a factor in the fear of old age, and it's also going to be something to talk about again in the fear of death. But that's this fear. Now the question becomes like, okay, like, do I have this fear? Do I have any of the symptoms? Right? Like, am I scared that I'm getting too old, like, to achieve my goals? Right? Like, is me getting older, right? You know what a better question would be? Uh, am I holding myself back because I'm making up that I'm too old, right? Am I holding myself back? What was I gonna say? Right? Am I thinking negatively because I didn't reach, a certain aspect during a certain age? And another thing is, like, where does stress come from, right? Like, let's say I set a goal, right? Am I doing the things to get to that goal? And if not, right, I'm only getting older and older and older, and the goal's getting closer and closer. But am I not doing the things so that I just see my time dwindling down, right? I care so much about time, but am I doing the steps I need to do to get to my goal in that time frame that I gave myself, right? Or And that's what I think about, also because like, a lot of people have learned to set goals, but if people learn to actually take action, get there, not once in a while, but continuously. And this is something for myself. So, um, yeah, those are my thoughts on the fear of old age. Uh, the only time I've really experienced this was when I was comparing myself to those younger than me. Like, I am only 22, so it depends on who's watching this that thinks I'm old. But yeah, that's my thoughts for today. I want to say thank you all for watching, and yeah, until we meet again in time and space, I'll see you all for now.